steps out of the line, and the 47 of Trevor Grafton crosses it on the apron, but he crosses first. He's our winner.
Right there will be your race winner, the 2 of Jameer Muhammad, bringing it to victory lane here tonight. It will officially be Sal Casey getting the win here tonight. He's just got to get across the line first, and there he is right there. Your winner here tonight is going to be the 40 of Sal Casey. We'll see right there. He will do it. Your race winner is going to be the 84 of Bryson Barker, led 28 laps. The most laps led here tonight. Bring it to the line right there. Your race winner will officially be the 2 of Jameer Muhammad, putting it into victory lane here tonight. Will be Mikey Neal officially will be your race winner here tonight. The checkered flag in the air for James Zarello, getting the win right there. Your race winner here, Bristol Motor Speedway, will be the 13 of James Zarello.
And your race leader tonight is the 83 of Alex Hoffman at Richmond Raceway.
Your again unofficial race winner here tonight, coming to the line under caution, will be the 5 of Brandon Dorsett, and I believe his first win here in the series. That will do it right there. Your race winner here tonight is going to be the 84 of Bryson Barker, putting it in victory lane here on week number 10. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network on a Tuesday night. Here we are with the Racecore Online Racing League. We are in practice here for the next 5.5 minutes before we move on to qualifying, followed by your race time. It looks like drivers are done with the drivers meeting. As you can see, I'm pulling out of pit road there to go put in a few more extra laps. But before we get into all of the racing and details here for tonight's race course, we want to go over tonight's sponsors here for the race. Those do include the title sponsor for this series, and that is Global Building Contractors. They will be back again here on the next season, coming in Sunday here this year. So big shout out to them for coming back on board. iRacing Drivers World, Dan Butler Designs, and coming on here recently, of course, is Gold Cube. And make sure you check out all of these great sponsors here on their social media sites and give them a big shout out for what they do here for this race. And of course, we wouldn't be here for 2018 and now 2019, as of course it is the 1st of January here in 2019 without our following partners that have come on board here. Of course, Northwest Racing Series, your official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. Walls Beard Co., your official starting grid sponsor of tonight's race. Make sure you check them out at wallsbeardco.com. SimSpeedShop.com. Not only have they renewed for 2019, they are also helping us do a giveaway with a free button box. When we hit 2,500 subscribers, we will do a giveaway, giving away one of their awesome button boxes that they make. So make sure you subscribe and get all your friends subscribed, and we will be giving more details about that giveaway here in the very near future. iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. We use them for all of our overlays, and if you're looking to get into broadcasting, you should too. So make sure you check them out at ibog.co. And of course, coming on here recently is Racecore Online Racing League. They are also one of our sponsors here now. They wanted to get their name out there and get even more drivers than they already have. So make sure, of course, you watch them here live. And if you're looking to get into a great league, check them out on Racecore, OnlineRacingLeague.com. That will do it here for the sponsors. We have 3 minutes left on the clock, and of course we have some great racing in store for you. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight for this race here at Dover International Speedway. We have a mile track. Technically it's being scored as 1.02 miles, but for all intents and purposes it is a 1 mile track. So we'll have 100 laps, 100 miles around this just awesome track here. That is, of course, the Monster Mile, as it's known. We've already seen people have problems here with this track getting into that outside wall. I expect to see several drivers in that outside wall. Not gonna, say one driver versus another gonna be in it, but it's just the nature of the beast here at this track. That outside wall will be a problem coming out of these corners. So, of course, we will be watching coming out of 2 and 4 to see if those plague a driver or two. How many will possibly affect, we just don't know here at the moment. But that is what we're here for, to cover all of the racing action here for tonight's race. So, without further ado, though, we are going to step away here one last time as we go to the national anthem. And when we come back, it will be qualifying here on Virtual Racing Network for the Racecore Online Racing League here at Dover International Speedway.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Qualifying is underway, so we're going to jump down there, as it looks like the first driver we see is going to be the 99 to Justin Starr. He's not on the track here, so we're going to switch over to Alex Huffman, who is on the track, and we're going to bring qualifying up as well as your driver bar here for tonight's race. We'll see. This is where we determine where everyone is going to start, who's going to be on pole, and who will be starting from the back. We do have, of course, a few EOLs that we need to go over here. We'll pull those up here on our end. Tonight's end-of-line penalties do go to the number 84 of Bryson Barker, followed by the 83 of Alex Huffman, who was out on the track, so he is going to stay on pit road. He's not going to come back out. And then, of course, the number 3 of Damian Leininger. So, Alex Huffman sitting at the end of pit road. He did not complete a lap, so it will not be a violation, I wouldn't imagine, as he did not officially complete a lap. Justin Starr about to right there. as he will run a 23.198 to put himself in second place. Jim Locking at the top of the charts right now in the number 91 machine with a 23.080. A very fast time for him. Dan Butler. Well, Dan Butler was in third. Now it's Justin Starr as Jason Covington takes it to second place with a 23.180. And now it's going to be David Gainforth the second with a 23.124 as they're trading second place back and forth like it is just a trading game out here. So big time trading going on here. We'll see Brian Bizzle currently in fifth place in that number 24 machine with a 23.237. Dan Butler is being dropped to seventh place. Jeremy Morrison currently in eighth place with a 23.559, but Sterling Smith's going to beat that time with a 23.512, and then Butch Frazier is going to beat his time with a 23.386. So times are getting traded very quickly here. Jim Locking, though, still has the fastest time. David Gainford still out on the track, so we'll see if he can possibly top his time. I'd say it will be a very hard time to do. 22.892 as I stand corrected. Jameer Muhammad takes it to the top of the charts. We'll see if he can stay there. Mikey Neal, 22.979. The only two 22-second times here for tonight's race. And they do belong to, as we've put it before, the two winningest drivers here in Racecore. That is Jameer Muhammad and Mikey Neal. Both of them very good drivers, very fast drivers. And you look to see them at the front of this field every single race. Again, just to recap for anyone that's just joining us, the end-of-line penalties here from the previous race last Tuesday coming to this race are going to be Bryson Barker, Alex Huffman, and Damian Leininger. Those three drivers will not be qualifying here for tonight's race as they will have to start at the back. Alex Huffman still sitting on pit road, but of course he will not put in a time. The 45 of Brian Jones, as he gets it a little loose, that is not going to help his time. So we'll switch over to Brandon Young, who's in the 51 machine. Right now, he has not officially put in a time. Only 13 drivers have actually put in times. The 13th driver going to be Jeremy Morrison with a 23.559. We'll see. We still have two drivers out on the track, Brandon Young and Brian Jones, still waiting to put in times. And it looks like we will have Brandon Young put in a time this time by. We'll see. It's going to be a 23.396. That will put him in 12th place as he has one more lap to go around this track. We'll see what he can put in, but we're also going to switch over to Brian Jones in the 45, who obviously got loose there and spun it during qualifying, so he is out back trying to complete this lap, as he is going to come to the flag stand right there, and it will be a 23.162 will be his official time coming in. That will put him in 6th place, so no surprise there. A solid time here for the 45 of Brian Jones. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the driver bar here for you, as we have 15 out of the 20 drivers that are here tonight taking qualifying laps. And that will do it for qualifying. 5 seconds left, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. As coming up next will be your Walls Beard Co. starting grid. All right, they are starting to get to the grid now. And we will be going one more time. It's going to be Jameer Muhammad, your pole sitter here for tonight's race. So we'll go ahead and go down here to the Walls Beard Co. starting grid on row 1. It's going to be a huge battle up front from the start of this race to the end. That is the number 2 of Jameer Muhammad and the number 8 of Mikey Neal. Row 2 is going to be the 91 of Jim Locking and the 101 of David Gainforth. Row 3 is going to be the 9 of Brian Dorsey and the 45 of Brian Jones. Row 4 is going to be the 10 of Jason Covington and the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. Row 5 is going to be the 99 of Justin Starr and the 24 of Brian Bizzle. Row 6 is going to be the 21 of Dan Butler and the 555 of Butch Frazier. Row 7 is going to be the 51 of Brandon Young and the 50 of Sterling Smith. Teammates starting side by side here for tonight's race on row 7. Row 8 is going to be the 57 of Jeremy Morrison and the 84 of Bryson Barker. Our first driver not taking a time due to an EOL here tonight. Row 9 is going to be the 33 of Josh Coley, who is notorious for not qualifying. That's just kind of his thing. And the 83 of Alex Huffman, one of our other EOL drivers here for tonight's race. Row 10 and rounding out this field is going to be the 78 of John Van Verels, who did not take a time. And Sam Crow in that 70 also not taking a time here tonight. That, of course, will do it for the Walls Beard Co. starting grid as we are just about set to get things going. Let's give you a look at this field here if we can. As you can see him coming into the picture now. There we go. There's a good shot of this field. As you can see, we have 20 cars on the track set to take the green here for tonight. Should be a good race for sure. As there it is, a green flag is out, and we are racing here for the first time tonight here in the Global Building Contractors 12-week series. As very quickly we have Jameer Muhammad taking a sizable lead over Mikey Neal. I did not expect that. I figured we would have a little bit of a battle, but there you see Mikey Neal starting to close that gap again. So we're going to hang tight with these guys here for just a moment and see how they go. We do have some battles going on in the back as well, but I want to watch this one here. We got to keep an eye right back here as well to this group. Look at these guys. You got the 101 of David Gainforth, the 99 of Justin Starr, and the 24 of Brian Bizzle really duking it out here. Back for about 9th position, 10th position in there. They are not done just yet. They are still going at it here, trying to make something happen. Brandon Young, Dan Butler trying to get into the mix as well. As we got some really good battles. They're going 2 and 3 wide back here still, led by the 51 of Brandon Young, but behind them still some good battles going on. We're keeping an eye on that front battle as well. 0.2, now 0.3 seconds behind. So really back here in the backs where we're starting to see these battles form. These guys are trying to get to the front as quickly as possible. Someone we really have to watch for is, of course, the 83 of Alex Huffman, who had that EOL penalty, so he had to start back here. Not of his own choosing. He would love to have qualified. He knows he's fast, but he is unfortunately sitting back here at the moment, and he is having to pick cars off one by one as he goes up a few more spots here. Where they're still side by side, and we got people scraping that outside wall. The 555 of Butch Frazier did it as well. So a few drivers scraping the wall here. Let's go back to the front, though. We got a gap of 0.199 separating our first and second place. That gap keeps getting bigger and smaller at the moment, though. Mikey Neal hanging on there, trying to close that gap as much as he can to possibly get the lead, but so far just hasn't been able to do it. We'll see. Will he be able to close that gap? Right now it is 0.366. That is the most it has been since the start of this race. So actually that gap is getting bigger here as Jameer Muhammad putting on a terrific run for first place, hanging on, trying to maintain this lead. And already here we're seeing drivers get a little bit spread out, as we'll put your top 3 up on the ticker here for you to see. Now let's go through this field a little bit, as we don't have a whole lot of battles going on here at the moment. So we're definitely looking for those are here and there throughout the field. You got a little one going on here between Brian Bizzle and the 24 and the 101 of David Gainforth. But let's go further back, right back here. We're going to stay back here for a while. This is really where the battles are going on. with Bryson Barker, Dan Butler, Alex Huffman. These guys putting a good-to-go show on here. Josh Coley in the 33 also putting together a really good run. Alex Huffman, though, hasn't really been able to work his way through the field as much as he'd like to. He is going to take a few spots there as he goes to the outside of the 21 of Dan Butler and the 555 of Butch Frazier, making it 3 wide for a split second. Somehow makes it work. What a battle going on there. At least, I don't know if I'd call it a battle, but it was a very quick pass by the 83. So if we go back to these guys again, that battle for there is still not done. The 555 of Butch Frazier and the 21 of Dan Butler still side by side here on lap number 11 of 100. What I want to point out here, though, is at the rate we're going right now, we probably won't see too many cautions. To answer the question there, Jason, why was he given the EOL penalty? It's for various reasons, usually cautions or being involved in an incident last race. Since they don't issue them right then and there, if they go back and review it and you were deemed at fault, then that penalty defaults over to this race, and you start at the back as they don't live assess them right then and there during the actual race it occurs in. So then you go and acquire that penalty at the next race. We're going to go back to the front here for a minute just to check in here. As you see, that gap really hasn't shrunk or gained at all. Jameer Muhammad still has a .383 a second gap, as that's about where it's been, 0.2 to 0.3 seconds here from your leader here. So unfortunately for Mikey Neal, he just quite hasn't been able to get up there and make anything happen for the lead. Jim Locking having a terrific run here for him as he is running in third place right now. I believe this is one of the highest runs he's had. He's had high runs. I don't recall if he's finished on a podium. I don't remember talking to him before. So this, if he continues this trend, this could be his first podium finish here for Racecore in the series. But again, we cannot 100% say that. He very well could have, as we've been here for 2 or 3 seasons, so we've been here for quite some time. We would have to pull those stats out of a bank if we wanted to officially confirm that or not. But right now, Brian Dorsey in 4th, and Jason Covington is currently in 5th position. To see where he started here tonight, he started in 7th. That's exactly where he's been at the lowest point, and his highest is where he's at right now, sitting in 5th place, trying to work over the 9 of Brian Dorsey to see if he can't take that position away from him. And he's got a fast car. It looks like he might be able to do it. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on him here for it tonight and see if he is able to get by him and pass him for 4th position. We go a little further back here. We still got a battle going on between Brian Bizzle in the 24 and the 45 of Brian Jones. Oh, we do want to thank everybody for tuning in here. I know we got Johnny out there, Jason out there, Half-Baked out there with us, and many others that I just can't see readily available in the chat. We appreciate you all coming in here. If you like the race, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. You just hit that subscribe button and you'll hit the little bell to be notified of all upcoming events. Of course, if you are an iRacer, check out simspeedshop.com. We're promoting them pretty heavy right now because when we hit the 25 subscriber mark here on the channel, we will be giving away a free button box that they're giving us to give away. So make sure you check them out, simspeedshop.com. And if you want to go ahead and buy one, you can, but we will be giving one away as well. So stay tuned for more information on that, as it will be coming out shortly. Right now, let's go back here just a little ways, as there you see a huge battle going on. 3 cars. You have, well, 4 if you count the 45, but you got the 101 of David Gainford, the 70 of Sam Crow in here as well. Ooh, as we get a little wiggle there from the 101 of David Gainforth, and that will allow the 84 to get by the 70, as the 70 of Sam Crow had to check up just a little bit to try and stay off the 101 of David Gainforth. And that actually didn't hurt to David Gainforth as much as it did Sam Crow. Sam Crow had to lift quite a bit to avoid getting into him. So let's go here with the on-board camera real fast, as we'll go on board here with Sam Crow in that number 70 machine. You're watching him on board chasing down the 84 of Bryson Barker, and he's right there, just unable to quite get to him, as we'll go on board here with Bryson Barker, see just how close he is to the back bumper of David Gainforth in that Looney Tunes machine out there. And right there, what a run that David Gainforth gets to get to the inside, and he will get by him, not by him, he's already in front of him. He will get a good run and get a little bit further ahead of him there, as you see the Goodyear blimp, or iRacing blimp out to the right. But right here, watch the run you get on the outside. He'll reel him in very quickly, and right there, you get a good run on the outside on the straightaways, but in the corners, the bottom is really looking like where the place you want to be. As here's one lap around this track. Watch. You go down low, and he's going to hang in there with him. Since he went up high, he catches him right there. But as they come here, you'll see they both go high. And depending on where Bryson Barker goes, so he's going to go up to the high side here. That's not. And look how much David Gainforth pulled away until he got down low, and then he was able to reel him back in. So there you can already see that the inside lane is going to be the place to be here tonight for this race. That outside is just not working right now anyway. That being said, it could potentially come in later in this race. This is where we're going to watch. Oh, contact between the 84 Bryson Barker and the 101 of David Gainforth. He lets off. He doesn't spin him. What a save from the 101 of David Gainforth. And what a job of the 84 as well, as he knew as soon as he hit him and he started spinning, he let off. So great driving from the 84 Bryson Barker, and even better driving from the 101 of David Gainforth to hold on to that car, as he does have damage now. Both of them do, but what a save, as we have Butch Frazier with damage coming down pit road here in the number 555 machine. Although Jamir Muhammad's still out front, we have caught lap traffic now, and that's allowing him to pull even further ahead from Mikey Neal, who is having to fight through that traffic and just unable to get through it as easily as your leader did. Obviously, the leader's going to have a little bit more leniency from some of these drivers, although second place gets a little bit as well. So we'll see how this one does work out for him, as there they go by the 555 of Butch Frazier, who is currently 3 laps down. John Van Rellis 1 lap down in that 78 machine. But let's go back here again. You see just how spread out these guys are. And we are actually getting close to pit stops here, as we were told around 49 to 50 laps on fuel is what we would expect. So if that's the case, we're about 19 laps away from having pit stops here for tonight. Caution free here at Dover International Speedway. Let's take a look here at the track facts real fast. As you see here at Dover International Speedway, let's go ahead and pull up that track map for you here real quick, and we'll just pop up who we're following. The 84 Bryson Barker here at Dover International Speedway. 4 turns, 1.02 miles. Technically 1 mile is what we're going with. 100 laps, 100, and at 2 miles is what we have. Check out your track temp here for tonight's race. 87 degrees. If we get a caution, that temperature is going to go down significantly. It is only 64 degrees outside. It is very cool. 8 mile per hour winds out of the northeast, so it is a very gusty wind. As you see dropping to 8, but that track temp is what we're watching, and that track temp is 87 degrees here, as it is going to gets a little warmer. If they continue going, it may drop a little bit too. We'll see. As let's do this. We'll pull up all your drivers real fast. Now you can see it's a little jerky there as we're trying to sort that out, but you can see just how spread out these drivers are on this track right now. Keeping in mind the 2 of Jamir Muhammad is your race leader, and it is even difficult to see his number in there as it's jumbled in with several other cars. But of course, the two of Jamir Muhammad is your race leader. So we will go ahead and get rid of that off your screen here for you, as we're keeping an eye on that as well. It's so many battles going on here. They're just really spread out. They're not real packed tight together here. They're just 2 or 3 cars here battling, and this is still a really good battle here between Bryson Barker and Brian Jones, battling for a top 10, well, technically 9th position. But don't count out Josh Coley, who just got by Brian Bizzle. He's in 11th place. He started at the back of this field. He was in 17th at the start of the race. 35 laps in, he's up to 11th place right now, as that will update when he gets to the line. So I look to see him fighting his way through this field tonight, as he's already doing a good job almost inside the top 10. So I definitely look to see him progressing through this field, as Jamir Muhammad will go to our race leader, even with lap traffic here. So far has actually pulled away a 1.1 second gap over Mikey Neal right now. So Mikey Neal, with that new VR headset, maybe trying to get a little bit used to it, hasn't quite figured it out so far. He's definitely quick. He has adjusted very quickly here to it, as he's still running right where he would before the headset, and we're looking at the car and I don't see any damage. So it's just a matter of finding the line here as to where he needs to run. He needs to find that perfect line, and getting a little loose there is definitely not going to help him, as that will hinder him here just a little bit. Jim Locking still sitting in 3rd place as the caution is out, and it's going to be for the 21. Dan Butler bringing out here the first caution, 10 laps short of our fuel run. Let's go back and take a look. All right, so we are here, and we have a, as always, special guest here. Not even a guest, he's just family at this point. But Jeff, welcome to the booth as we're watching this replay.
But special probably is a pretty apt description, huh, Charles?
Well,
how's it going, buddy?
It's going good. We're just watching the 21 and the 50. Have a little contact there to bring out our first caution. I didn't think we were going to have too many cautions here tonight. And as they go down pit road, we're watching that. We had our first caution 39 laps in of a 100-lap race. And we already knew, I got the word that our pit stops would have happened around lap 49. So this could be really interesting, as we were 10 laps short of our pit window. So they're still going to have to come down again.
Yeah, and green flag pit stops are so tricky. Everything at this track's tricky. It's just not forgiving at all. So would be more surprised not to see an accident than I would to be, because coming off these corners, both 2 and 4, they just don't allow for any mistakes at all.
Yeah, and that is one thing too we've been surprised about here since the start of the race. During practice before we went live, thank goodness for a lot of these people that this is a sim, or some of these drivers would be out of cars by now. As you mentioned, coming out of those corners, we saw so many drivers just pancake the side of the car on that coming out of those corners. But so far, we haven't really seen it too much in the race. And of course, we got, like I said, 10 laps short of our fuel window. So I'm wondering, you could be more detailed on this as a driver's standpoint. Once you get 39, 40 laps in, how much more careful are you driving that car, babying it, just so you don't get into that outside wall?
Well, man, it really depends on how you drive your car. So this is one of those tracks where it's really easy to burn up that right front tire early, in which case it just wants to push so bad. And it's so easy to come out of one of those corners, and the natural reaction when a car starts pushing is to keep turning that wheel. And it'll slide those tires a bit. They're sliding. You slow down enough, and all of a sudden, those tires grip, and you'll just see a car just snap around. It looks like it's crazy loose, but it's actually a tight, loose condition, and that car's just traveling slow enough that it finally grips with all that steering wheel into it. And so that's a big one, and you really see that a lot coming off of 4. Or the other condition is they'll just push straight up into the wall and then hit the wall and then come back down. And then, on the converse side, guys that don't necessarily burn up that right front tire that protect it a lot, they tend to kind of get the rear tires a little bit and maybe end up a little bit loose this late in the run. And you're coming up over a hill off of both of these corners. And if you're loose at all, you've got to be so delicate on that throttle. Because, first of all, you're lightening up that rear end. It's getting lighter just by virtue of coming up over the hill. And then you've worn those tires down. It is so easy to just have no grip when you go to step on that gas coming over that hill. So for both styles of driving, when you get into 40 laps, man, you got to be super careful.
They'll definitely do. And being that this track is tricky as where lights are off, we were watching in qualifying Mikey Neal and Jamir Muhammad, as we've referred to them as the winningest 2 drivers here in Racecore. Both of them ran 22-second qualifying laps. They have not hit those here in the race, of course, you can do that a little bit. You can push it harder in qualifying. But interesting enough here is we've been watching this. As close as they were in qualifying, it hasn't been that way in the race. Mikey Neal is actually almost 1.3 seconds behind Jamir. So, you knowing Jamir as well as I do, you've talked to him quite a bit here interviewing him. He says he's not good at these shorter tracks or intermediate. He's good at the long tracks, but this is 2 short races in a row that he's done really good as the green flag does come back out.
Jamir's gotten a lot better. Since I first started covering these guys at the short tracks. And I would say as far back as maybe early fall or late summer, Jamir was starting to put on some good shows at these short tracks. So I think maybe there's just a little bit of humbleness going on there. At one point, maybe he wasn't great at the short tracks, but he is now.
Yeah, he definitely is good now. And speaking of doing really good, as we'll go through our top 5 real fast, I mentioned this earlier in there. Jim Locking sitting in 4th place right now. We got Brandon Dorsett pancaking the wall there. I don't know for a fact. I'd have to go back and look at the stats further back since we've been here.
They're going around there, Carl. Sam Crow into the barrels. Not sure what happened. Looked like he just got a little bit loose, and then he hit the barrels down there by pit road. Couldn't save it. Don't think it brought out a caution, but he's backing onto the course now, so it may.
Yeah, we'll see. You're right. No caution coming out. And the question is, will the leaders get to him in time? But no, he is actually back going the right direction, limping it around this track. But, not much of a runoff here at this track, so I'm really surprised it didn't bring out a caution.
Sorry for interrupting there, first of all, but I really expected that to bring out a caution. So great job there by Sam Crow. To get that under control and be in a spot where he had to back out on the track and still just have the patience to do that at a time where he wasn't going to bring out the caution.
Yeah, definitely. And he's keeping it down low now. One, probably to let these guys by, but 2, that car cannot be handling very well with as much damage that he has to the front of it. So I would imagine it's going to be a handful. These things are already bad enough. As while we talk about him here for a minute, let's go on board with him here as we'll go to the helmet cam just to kind of see what it's like for him out there. And he's definitely he's taking it to the apron to let these guys by. He knows it's a handful, and he knows he cannot battle with him at all. For one, he's at least a lap down now, and it'd be pointless. But 2, you don't want to battle and ruin someone's night because of an ill-handling car.
Well, and then, you've got some extremely hot tires from a side like that. For about 2 laps, they won't grip to save their lives. So you don't even know what you've got yet. He's probably got to get a couple circuits in under his belt here before he can even see what this car is capable of doing on the track. Is it loose? Is it tight? Is he down on speed? So it'll be curious to see if he keeps it up on the track. I don't know if he's got cars still trying to come by him. Yeah, he does. So he kept it up on the track now. I think he was probably down on apron for a couple of heat cycles with those really, for lack of a better word, kind of jellied up tires there.
Yeah, not to mention, depending on how much he slid it, we don't talk about it a whole lot, but the tire wear, it's pretty accurate in here. And one thing we don't really ever talk about is flat spotting tires. With this latest tire wear model that they've had, you can flat spot the tires, so that could be interesting. Again, how it could affect that, we don't know how far he actually slid it. I doubt he probably got too much, but it is a possibility that he could have. I want to go back to the front real fast here, that this time around, Jamir Muhammad has not been able to pull the gap that he did over Mikey Nils. They're only 0.116 seconds away right now.
Yeah, and I unfortunately was having those technical difficulties trying to get here for the beginning of those races, so I did miss the first 35 laps, and I don't know if there was just a bobble by Mackey or something that let him give up that gap, but certainly he's having no problems keeping pace with Jamir Muhammad right now. Yeah. And just to mention there, Brandon Dorsett looked like he got into a wall or something back there, and he's really been struggling here in traffic. I think he finally just let this whole pack of cars by him, but having to run outside there too wide, and it looks like he's got quite a bit of damage there. So not sure what happened to him, but having a hard go of it here right now.
Yeah, he was on that restart, as we saw him in the background. He was the one that pancaked the wall right off the restart. And it's like we talked about that wall, or you did anyway, that wall is not forgiving at all. I'm not even sure. I know in part of this track, but right where you actually hit here, if you get loose, does not have a safer barrier either. Yes, that really doesn't save your life on sim racing, but it's further back than the wall, so you can actually build more speed, and it can affect how you hit the wall, how hard you hit it, how fast you're going, and it's definitely can still jerk that wheel around and give you a lot of damage.
Well, this track, you've just got enough banking. It's a slick enough track. You've got all those factors working against you. It really doesn't take much of a bump at all on that wall, and you lose all grip with the track. It sends you sideways, but it's like you're on ice skates the minute you make contact with that wall, and then the banking and all that just shoots you right down the track. It is really tough to come off that wall, hit that wall, and keep the car going straight. You almost have to turn back in the wall and try to hit it again to not end up into a big pile of junk there.
Yeah, you hit the wall and then use the wall to keep you straight. So, it's kind of a weird scenario, but that's just the way it works. As we'll go back up to the front here, I want to talk about everyone here. There's battles all over this track, but Mikey Neal is finally looking to the inside. He couldn't do anything there, but he is adamant to try to get this lead, as Jamir Muhammad has led all 57 laps we have completed. And I say that because I want to talk about, we have not even been live. We had 10 minutes of qualifying and 10 minutes of pre-show. So we've really only been racing for about 30 minutes, or 30 to 35 minutes. And we are 60 laps into this race. So they are really clicking off laps tonight. This race is going to go by very quickly with only one caution so far. If that trend continues, we'll be talking to our winner here probably in the next 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's Dover, man. You got 24-second laps, 23-second laps here. Roughly 3 a minute, 100 laps. It's possible that we can knock this race out in 40 minutes or so. So, even with a caution.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, especially knowing Racecore, they are notorious for having low to no caution races. They're doing that here. But I'm going back here to the 99 of Justin Starr, who's got Josh Coley all over his back bumper. As usual, Josh Coley in that 33 machine, he is notorious for not qualifying. He did that again here tonight, and he is up to 7th place. He is working his way through this field very quickly as we have Sam Crow going down pit road. I don't think that's a scheduled stop. Obviously, he does have damage. But both Justin Starr and Josh Coley having really good runs, and so is Alex Huffman, who received the end-of-line penalty for this race. He's up to 8th place.
Yeah, I raced with Josh Coley in another league, and let me tell you, man, he's I got to give him credit. He's been on the sim for about a year now, and he's improved about as fast as anybody I've seen. he puts in ungodly amounts of time in practice, and he forces himself to come through the field. He's a really fast driver, and there's probably no better way to learn how to deal with traffic than to make yourself come through the field in these late races. I never had the patience for anything like that. I just want to get up there, try to win, try to compete. But Josh Coley, even when he's racing, he's working on his craft and working to get better. So hats off to Josh Coley, and then hats off to Alex Huffman and for coming from the back of the field too, man. That's just not an easy task.
No, it definitely is not. It's two different scenarios too, which is awesome when you talk about them side by side, both racing here together. Josh Coley opts to do it. He's trying to work his way. Alex Huffman got a penalty, so he had to go back there. He didn't want to, so it's complete opposite ends of the spectrum as to why they started back there. But like we just talked about how good of drivers they are, end result, they're both in the top 10 right now, trying to work their way to the top 5, and I have a feeling we'll see both of them up there here shortly. But Mikey Neal, as we go back there, still running down Jamir Muhammad. Of course, it doesn't take but one lap that you have to lead. I really think, and you can talk about this, elaborated on the racing side things more, I think we're probably going to see Mikey Neal get as close to him as we can and then short pit him here in a minute on the last pit stop they have to make.
Well, that would be the ideal strategy, not give Jamir enough time to react to that. The problem is this pit road is so hard to get into and not give it away. It's not like you can just come flying in there at the last second. About the time you get into that last corner, you're already having to drive it down on the apron and get into those pits. You got worn tires. So, most tracks, that's what you'd like to do. You'd like to get out right under the bumper. You'd like to make that last minute dive for the pit, short pit them, stick them out there for an extra lap. But going to be hard to pull off here because you've got to do everything so last minute, and this is an incredibly tough place to pit anyways.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the question, of course, will we have another caution? I'm notorious for trying to predict how many cautions we're going to have. But the question, or the really thing is, you don't know. It's racing. If you knew how many cautions you were going to have, you could easily predict and get your fuel strategy in order, but you don't. You could race this track 10 races in a row and have a different result every single time, possibly a different winner every time. You never know what's going to happen, and that's why we're watching these guys so closely here to see what happens, as we do have David Gainforth in the 101 coming down pit road here with 30 to go. He does have damage, but if this is a scheduled stop, he would be able to make it to the rest of this race.
Yeah, and I've actually watched Mikey Neal fall back a little bit the last two laps. We talked about getting right on their bumper and then not giving him a chance to pit. The other route would be to fall back just a little bit, since you have to make such an abrupt pit entrance anyways. That would allow you to be a little bit less abrupt and really put the other guy in an uncomfortable position, because he'd have so much less room to pit to try to get down there and get in. So not sure if that strategy is in play here either. I would have thought if he was going to back up, he would have pit already. So I'm already questioning that thought, but that is something else that we could see here. Yeah,
and the other thing, and the rest of the guys don't have to worry about it as much. They still have to worry about it, but in Mikey Neal's case, he is in a very, very tricky spot. If he can pull this off and come down pit road and short pit him, the biggest thing he's going to have to worry about, one, on all the older tires, not locking it up and spinning it around and not getting caught speeding on pit road because of how abrupt he's going to have to do it. If he can even pull it off. If Jamir sees it and tries to do it as well, then he's even in a worse spot to try to not get caught speeding on pit road. The rest of these guys, they're not trying to do that really, so they're just going to see the leaders and then come in. But these two guys are probably, I think, in my opinion, sitting in a real hot seat as far as getting caught speeding on pit road.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of my favorite trick there. For some reason at Dover, I always seem to get nailed for something, and man, you want to talk about a good way to ruin a race? Get a penalty here at Dover and go a couple laps down with all this green flag race, and that'll end the night faster than anything.
It definitely can, and that's pit road penalties are a killer, and it's, like you said, especially when there isn't any cautions to help you get back on that lead lap, as we are seeing drivers go laps down. We currently have 12 of the 20 on the lead lap. The next one, of course, to potentially go a lap down would be Brandon Young in the 51 machine. His teammate just did a little while ago in the 50, who is actually down pit road, and so is Mikey Neal on pit road. Jameer Muhammad is not, so he was able to short pit him.
Yeah, good move by Mikey Neal. That should force Jameer Muhammad to jump in there right away. And as I say that, it looks like Jameer Muhammad goes by again. So Jameer Muhammad must have said, you know, he made his bed there, and it looks like maybe he's going to ride this out and hope for a caution. But with Mikey short pitting him there and Jameer out there still 2 laps later, I got to think Mikey's going to cycle back out front by the time Jameer finally does pit. Mikey's going to be a second and a half a lap faster.
Yeah, he definitely is, and we'll report those times. We'll give him a lap or two to get up to speed, as he is out of pit road and looked like a nice, clean stop, and he's able to get out without getting any penalties that we can tell. And there is Jameer. Jameer's running 25.2s right now, not coming down pit road. Josh Coley is coming down pit road right now, so he will take his stop. And once again, Jameer Muhammad staying out. So I'm with you. I think he could possibly be kind of banking on a caution here to see if he can maybe get that and you know, work it out somehow for him.
Hey, it's not a bad move with green flag pit stops at Dover. We said that was a super hard place to pit. It's so easy to get wrapped up with those trash barrels down there when you're coming into the pits. However, as the leader, you don't want to be the one gambling on a pit stop. You know, if you assume the lead during those pit stops, maybe it's worth a shot. But I can't see, you know, and of course, these guys are always thinking of stuff we don't think of. But I got to think that as every lap goes by without a caution, Jameer Muhammad is regretting his decision more and more.
Yeah, he very well could be, as just about everybody has come down pit road here, as he's getting passed by the 70 of Sam Crow, who is actually, I believe, multiple laps down here. He's 6 laps down, and he has made a pit stop. So lap cars are starting to pass you now. I think this is the point where you pretty much have to come down. If your lap cars are passing you that have damage, you know the leaders are going to be, or you know, like the rest of the guys are going to be catching you soon. So I think this is definitely a time you're going to have to come in and just admit it. But you could hang out and try. We'll see how it plays out. We have 19 laps to go.
Well, with Mikey Neal just getting back there on the lead lap, you know, that's kind of your main competitor here so far in the race. So trapping everybody a lap down just kind of went out the window. But just look at all these guys in the fresh tires flying by Jameer Muhammad. That is the difference between the tires right now. Jameer Muhammad running 26-second laps. Mainly, he's got to take it to the outside to let these faster cars by. So he's not even getting to run the faster line, running 26-second laps. And then you got Mikey Neal and his fresh tires running 23.5-second laps. I mean, almost 3 seconds difference, 2.5 seconds, 2.7 seconds difference on these lap times. And, you know, we're probably going on 7 or 8 laps here now, or 6 laps for Mikey Neal now. So, you know, we're talking 15 seconds already when Mikey was less than a second behind him.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Oh, we got a car going around, 18 car off the track into the pits area on the grass.
And we'll get to him. So far, no caution.
That's what Jameer needs.
Yeah, that's what he needs, and that's actually the 78 John Van Varelis. He's trying to get it going. So far, he is going the right direction, and no caution will come out for Jameer Muhammad.
Oh, man, that's got to be a heartbreaker there. If you're Jameer Muhammad and you're seeing that, you're sitting there saying, I need a caution, I need a caution, I need a caution. Oh, here it comes. And then it doesn't. It
doesn't, and that, yeah, like you said, that's almost as bad as, you know, getting DQ'd or, you know, blinking out of a race here in the sim, losing connection. That could be a heartbreaker moment right there for him, as he realizes that was his chance, and unfortunately it did not bring out a caution. Although we have 15 laps to go, we still could see someone else spin and that bring out a caution, but Again, with only one caution so far, the odds of that happening are not real good.
Well, if we do get that caution, it should get interesting. I don't know what happened. My score timing board was showing Mikey Neal on the lead lap, but now I'm not showing him on the lead lap. I've got Mikey Neal and Bryson Barker in 4th place now, both a lap down. So if that's the case, there is still a little bit of time to see that caution come out and save those guys. I thought that those guys had gotten back on the lead lap.
Yeah, they indeed are being shown the lap down of mine. Brian Bizzle and Jameer Muhammad, the only two on the lead lap. And what I want to do...
we go again. 555 and a 78 got into each other, go around. We got 3 or 4 cars going around.
And that will bring out a caution, so let's go back and take a look. Oh, another saving grace here, potentially, for Jameer Muhammad, as that's what he was banking on, and that's what he got. The question is, what brought out a caution? I don't think the 555 started. I think he was just a victim of it, as he was pretty much all by himself on the track.
Well, I didn't see it all. I just saw him and the 78 bumping into each other right there as I switched the cameras on the track, and then 78 got sideways and went around there. Not sure who or what caused it, but the two of them did get contact there.
They did indeed. Let's go back and take one more look here, as we're going to go to a different camera. I think it was netcode. I don't think they actually touched. We're going to get a different angle here to see if we can. No, indeed they did touch. The 78 and the 555 both touching, then the 45 getting a piece of it. Almost saved it, but then just smashes into the water things. The barrels are down there. And that will bring out the caution, and no surprise there. The Jameer Muhammad and Brian Bizzle coming down pit road. Kind of a empty pit road here, as those are the only two coming down.
Well, those are the only two that were on the lead lap that can come down. So we talked about, we didn't even get to talk about a lot of stuff. So they had 48 laps. You said the field window was 49 laps. So they had 48 laps on those tires. They had 1 lap left before they were going to have to pit. They are able to get the caution with 1 lap to spare. It puts the rest of the field a lap down. So they're the only ones that get to pit this first time by regardless. Now, the other guys have a decision to make. Do they take a wave round and get to the lead lap, or do they come in and get tires? I believe that Mikey Neal's going to get the lucky dog. But Bryce and Barker on back, they're going to have to decide, do we get put on the lead lap to stay on our old tires? Or do we get new tires and hope for another caution? Either way, they're at a serious disadvantage.
Yeah, they definitely are. So the strategy, obviously, for the two of Jameer Muhammad working out really good for him here tonight. You know, he's already good, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and he definitely got lucky. And everyone looks like, well, I say that, it's kind of a split when Mikey Neal is coming down pit road. But it looks like for the most part everyone's opting to get their lap back and not come down for tires and fuel.
Yeah, Mikey Neal, I believe, is getting the lucky dog, so he gets to come down pit road and get his lap back. But everybody else, they got to stay out there and get that lap back and then hope for another quick caution to allow them to come and get some tires. That's kind of what they're left with here. And it's going to have to happen fast, because we're going to get to green with just a couple laps to go. Before we're back in that caution window.
That's going to be about 8 to go or so. And this is kind of setting up here to where we could potentially have that late race caution and give these guys exactly what they need or want here as another shot at it. Because, for one, cautions breed cautions. We already know that. And 2, we have 10 laps to go, which means we're in that go zone. For people that are trying to get to that top 3 and get, or even a top 5 and get a solid finish out of it, this is kind of, I don't necessarily want to point these drivers to do this, but this is at a point where people start doing and making moves that they normally wouldn't make.
Yeah, speaking of moves, man, got to give credit to Jameer Muhammad. We were sitting there railing on him for that decision to stay out, and that caution fell one more lap, and he'd have probably looked foolish, but he looks like a genius here. He and Brian Bizzle both. So Mikey Neal got a shot starting on the inside row with fresh tires, but everybody else out there with the old tires, I don't think they got a shot at this.
Yeah, I definitely think it's him. And we're just checking chat. We haven't checked it in a while here to see what we got going on. And I'm not sure we'll figure out what the first name is on there, but we have a B. Peters that says, is that Jeff in the booth? Apparently he runs some leagues with you. So,
hey, Brandon Peters, how you doing there, buddy?
That's what I was thinking. It was Brandon Peters, but had to clarify. So, yeah, we haven't seen that name in a long time.
Yeah, maybe we get that Xfinity series kicking off a little earlier next season and get out. I think if I remember right, Brandon's one of those that really messes with his work schedule here because we run so late.
Well, I mean, we could always just change his work schedule. As there it is, green flag back in the air, and they get going here very quickly with 8 laps to go. It is Jamir Muhammad out front, Mikey Neal in second, and after all that, Mikey probably has a bigger urge to win this race than he even did before.
Mikey Neal wasted no time getting by Brian Bazell. Great move. He got kind of that preferred starting position on the inside, but Jamir Muhammad, who was the control car, he's out there by, I'm not even sure, I'm going to say probably about 10 car lengths right now, and that's going to be a lot to overcome here in about 5 laps. Mikey's going to have to run some qual line times here to try to close that gap. And that means putting those left tires right down there on that white line coming off the corner like he is now. And you really run the risk of getting loose with a little bit of apron. But he hit that qual line perfect on that lap.
Yeah, and I will say he does have a little bit of damage to the right front side. It's not messing with the splitter in any way. It's just the hood. I'm not sure when he got it, but I don't think it's going to affect him in any way. But keep an eye on that gap. You can see it up on the top of your ticker, 0.499, now 0.416. So that is the best way out there for y'all for watching this to know exactly how far that gap is other than just 2 or 3 car lengths, as it's down to 0.383. So he is running him down.
Yeah, well, he's running that qual line right now, and that's just such a delicate balance, man. There's a little bit of a banking transition down there, and if you can put your tires right in it, it frees it up enough to hook it. It's almost like a grip strip. Ooh. And really getting that throttle coming off that corner. Miss high, you go into the wall and throw sparks like we just saw. Miss low, and you're on the apron, and it upsets the whole balance of the car, and you go spinning around. And
luckily, he didn't go spinning, but sparks were flying as he did scrape that wall. And that, we talked about it, that gap went from 0.2-ish, 0.3 to 0.6. So it nearly doubled just by that little bitty scrape of the wall. If it would have been any worse, he would have probably been back towards the back of this field. Jamir Muhammad with 3 to go. He is sitting in a really good spot right now because Mikey Neal is, if he even could get up there, he's going to have to push it so hard that he would probably end up spinning this car out. So he's probably going to be content with second place. You never want to be, but I bet he probably is going to have to be here tonight.
Well, Jamir Muhammad running easy now, or breathing easy. He's able to get off that qual line as soon as this saw Mikey hit that and that gap open up. He doesn't have to run that qual line anymore, so he can run a much safer line. Might be about 3/10 slower. But now he's going to have to contend with a little bit of lap traffic here. And even though lap traffic is going to get out of the way, it's got the potential for screwing things up here.
It definitely does as they come to the line. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Presented by Northwest Racing Series. Jamir Muhammad is half a lap away from putting it in victory lane. And we'll see if he can do it. I don't think there's any reason he probably isn't going to be able to. As you're watching the Global Building Contractors 12-week series with the 2 races to go, there it is. Your race winner is going to be the 2 of Jamir Muhammad.
Yeah, what a great race by Jamir Muhammad. Some great pit strategy, like we said, 1 lap away from looking like silly pit strategy, or at least we think 1 lap away. But as it stands and the way it worked out, it was brilliant strategy. So hats off to him. Great job, Brian Bazell, too. We didn't talk about him too much, but he running the same strategy as Jamir Muhammad and locks in a 3rd-place finish.
He does. Another strategy that worked perfectly out as they're going to get ready for their photos here. While they do that, we'll go ahead and get to the post-race show, or first the result, of course. So we got 20 drivers. Jeff, you want to go through our top 10, and then I will bring us home.
Absolutely. Bringing it home in first place, your number 2 car of Jameer Mohammed. In second place tonight, we've got the number 8 of Mikey Justified Neal. In third place, the number 24 of Brian Bazell. Bringing it home fourth tonight, the 10 car of Jason Covington. In fifth place, the 84 of Bryson Barker. Sixth place, the 9 car, Brian Dorsey. In seventh, the 83 of Alex Huffman. Bringing it home in ninth, the 99 of Justin Starr. And rounding out your top 10 tonight, the 101 of David Gainforth.
In 11th place is going to be the 5 of Brandon Dorsett. 12th place will be the 91 of Jim Locking. 13th will be the 57 of Jeremy Morrison. 14th will be the 51 of Brandon Young. 15th will be the 50 of Sterling Smith. 16th will go to the 21 of Dan Butler. 17th will go to the 45 of Brian Jones. 18th will go to the 78 of John Van Varelis. 19th will go to the 70 of Sam Crow. And 20th will go to the 555 of Butch Frazier. Of course, that will do it for your unofficial race results. We will be right back here in just a few moments with your post-race shows. We talk to your top 3 drivers. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with your post-race show. We have your top 3 drivers here in the booth with us to talk to them. And, of course, starting with a third place, that is the 24, Brian Bizzle. Didn't lead any laps, but still had a fantastic run here tonight, as we'll pull up those stats real fast. And started in 10th place. I'm not sure what your lowest was. It might have been 10th, as it's not showing. But, of course, I got as high as 2nd, finished 3rd. So, first off, as always, congrats on the 3rd place finish here. And what was the strategy coming in here? Obviously, the pit strategy, you and Jameer were on the same one, and it worked out for you here for a solid 3rd place finish.
I got really lucky. Strategy was just stay out as long as I could, pray for a caution.
Well, definitely the strategy worked here for you. This track is, we talked about it a little bit during this race. This track is not forgiving. It's not called the Monster Mile for no reason. So as far as this track goes, turn 2 and turn 4, coming out of these corners with as much speed as you're carrying, how difficult is it as a driver to kind of explain to these fans out there, how hard is it coming out of those corners to not get into that outside wall and turn that car around?
It's really hard coming off of turn 2 with the bump there. I wish I could learn from Jameer and Mikey. They got it figured out pretty dang well.
Well, they do say you run with people that'll beat you. Eventually you'll beat them because you'll learn from them. Obviously, you've been learning out there. You're hanging in there to a 3rd place finish. Almost had 2nd, so I would have just been a little bit more I don't know, special, nice here towards the end of the season, momentum boost to get. But we only have one more race after tonight, next Tuesday, and then a little bit of a break. So are you looking forward to that last race and then getting that little bit of a break before you start back again?
Yeah, break would be nice. Give a little bit of time for the wife. She don't like me doing this every night.
Well, definitely breaks are nice here and there. That being said, of course, we know you got some sponsors and shout-outs, so who would that be for that third place finish here tonight?
Oh, man, it's been a long time since I had to do this. Global Building Contractors, Dan Butler Designs, Gold Cube, and I think I'm missing one. iRacing Drivers World. And you guys for putting on the broadcast. Y'all do a great job.
Oh,
and my teammates over at Company Motorsports.
All right. Well, again, congrats on third place. We're definitely glad to be here covering this. And finishing in second place here tonight, that is the 8 of Mikey Neal. Also came up a little shy of leading any laps here. So first off, again, congrats on second place. And same deal. How tough is this track? And do you think you had anything for Jameer as you were running him down all night long, got right to his back bumper, but just couldn't quite complete the pass?
Yeah, first run, just bad run overall. I didn't do that well. So I kind of changed it up a little bit. Second run, I did really, really well. I was there with them, and then saw fuel, and I knew we weren't going to make it. So I went ahead and just short pitted. That's all I could really do at that point. And I knew Jameer, he was most likely just going to end up staying out because of how hard it is to pass. I mean, you just can't pass at this track. It's way too hard unless like you can just perfectly get him underneath him or on top of him. But I tried everything I could to get around him, and it's just you can't pass. It's super, super hard. And so I went in short pitted. I knew that was going to be the only way. And then caution came out. So I couldn't really do much there. I had to go all the way around, start back in third, and then on that final run, I was just overdriving everything, so I couldn't really do anything.
We talked about coming down pit road. We knew, talking about it as Jeff explained it, you were probably going to have to short pit him, and we talked about it a little bit, but give us a driver's perspective here for the fans. How this track being the way pit road is, what did you have to do to try and short pit Jameer and not give him that chance to let him see that you were going to do it, but also be close enough to him that you didn't lose a whole lot of time on him either?
Well, the rule is that you have to be around 2.5 seconds ahead of the guy behind you, where you don't have to call it, and that's kind of a rule that gets thrown around a little bit. But when I looked, there was a guy about 3.5 seconds back, so I didn't have to call it. So I knew I was right on Jameer, so there's no way that he was going to pit the same lap I was, especially because he had to call it, and he never called it, so I knew he wasn't going to pit. And from there, that's where I knew I was clear, I was good. And from there, when I saw him stay, I knew Jameer, he was either going to pit a lap after me or he was going to stay out till try to get a caution, and he did exactly that. I stayed out, got a caution, and luckily won the race out of that too. So that was a really good strategy on his part. I think he carries a golden horseshoe. I think he puts it on his dash every time because he got lucky today. But it was a good race from him overall.
Definitely was. It was a good race for you and obviously everyone out there. That being said, we know you got some sponsors and shout-outs. So who would those be for that second place finish?
Oh, yeah, I got to thank Global Building Contractors, the main sponsors. Thank you guys for letting us do this every week. Also got to thank iRacing Drivers World, Dan Butler Designs, and Gold Cube. Also got to thank my teammates, K and PRG. Thank you guys so much. I got to thank BRN. Words cannot describe how thankful we are to have you every single weekend to broadcast the race. We love having you and Jeff. Also got to thank Mom and Dad. I know they're both watching. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. I got to thank Dan and Justin. Thank you guys for hosting the league. Also got to thank everybody for watching. We love having you guys tune in every single week. And then also congratulations to Brian and Jameer. They definitely had a heck of a strategy there at the end, and they ended up getting top 3. Both of them did.
Well, definitely an outstanding race here. That being said, for the second race in a row here, as we were off, of course, Monday night, we get to see the Jeff and Jameer. So Jeff, we are going to hand it over to you.
All right, thank you, Charles. And Jameer, welcome back to the second Jeff and Jameer post-race show of the week here.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Well, listen to Mikey's interview. I think that sums up what we probably talked about for about the last 50 laps of the race. You guys, you had the caution come that put you about 10 laps out of what we thought was your field window. You guys, we were trying to figure out, was Mikey going to short pitch you or not? We didn't think you could make it on field. I think we were right. Mikey was able to short pitch you. We were surprised when he didn't come in and just kind of take the penalty, but we figured you just decided you were gonna roll with it because we've seen you do that plenty. You're always the guy that seems to be on the alternate pit strategy. Whatever everybody else does, you're gonna do the opposite. It seems like. You stayed out there. We sat there and we're watching you lose probably what looked like was going to be 2.5 seconds a lap, and you still had to field trap the lap down. I think you had 48 laps on your tires, so by our estimation, you had 1 to 2 laps to fill left when that caution came out. So we think that you were about a lap away from coming out of the pits, maybe 10 or 15 seconds out of the lead. Instead, you trapped all but 2 cars a lap down. Mikey's able to get the lucky dog and come back. So I think Mikey used the word luck. He used the word great strategy. I think we used all those words. From what were you thinking? Holy cow, look at that great strategy.
Yeah, it worked out. There was a lot going on in my head with that. So the pace slowed down quite a bit because the temperature, the track temp heated up to about almost 90 degrees. So the pace slowed down. I think I was going to be like 8 or 9 laps short when we went for the restart, and it was a tough call. Once I saw Mikey pitted there with 25 to go, I guess the other thing that was on my mind I didn't mention was the championship. Me and Mikey's duking it out right now. I lost quite a bit of points there at Charlotte with the accident at the end, and so I pretty much had to go out here and get max points, lead the most laps, lead a lap, try to keep Mikey from leading a lap. And I'm not sure if I got the fastest lap or not. I hope I did, but I was just trying to get the most points I could and trying to keep Mikey from not leading a lap. And I knew once he short pitted there, he was going to come out in front of me. Even if I had better tires, I might have passed him, but I was just trying to get max points and keep him from getting a lap led. So I knew it was going to be close on fuel. You lose about almost 2 complete laps here under green flag pit stops, so it's about 50 seconds. So I was just kind of really conserving. I was really blowing it up like halfway down the straightaway and just coasting all the way down to the middle of the turn. So if the caution didn't come out, I would have been really, really close. I think I would have. I still had like a lap and a quarter lead over Mikey at the time the caution came out. So there was only 10 laps to go. I think I could have conserved just enough to make it all the way to the end there. So, but the caution just made things easier. So.
Well, it sure seemed like you were a lot less close to us, and maybe we made it a little more interesting than it was. But if it does help, I can tell you did have the fastest lap. So,
oh, sweet.
You turned a 23:146 for the fastest lap tonight, and I think Mikey actually had the second fastest lap at a 23:224. So you almost nearly a tenth of a second faster for that fastest lap. So I think you racked up all the bonus points tonight. Congratulations on that, man.
Yeah, that was the goal coming in here. I mean, I lost about 15 points to Mikey last week at the end of the race we had a restart at Charlotte and wrecked with like 2 to go, and so that cost me quite a bit. But yeah, I had to go get max points tonight, and then next week, the last race of the season, I'm gonna have to do it again. And even that might still not be enough. But Mikey is obviously even his second tonight, so he's doing what he's got to do to keep that lead.
Man, it's always a great time watching you and Mikey battle. You guys have developed quite the friendly rival here the last couple seasons, and I say friendly because it seems like so many of these championships and races all come down to you two guys as you kind of trade blows back and forth. But we get you into these interviews, and I don't think it's even possible for one guy to just talk a little bit of trash about the other guy. You're both always so complimentary to each other. So just in a few words here, tell us what this rival with Mikey's like that you guys got going on here as you get ready to head into that championship.
It's a ton of fun. I mean, Mikey's so fast, and it's a friendly rivalry, like you said. I mean, he's the guy that is always there that I have to beat almost just to win a race, and just I appreciate racing with him just because I learn a lot from him. He's always fast at every track. He's faster than me at certain tracks, so I get a lot of I learn a lot from him. I'm sure he's learned a lot racing around me. We always race super clean. We give each other just enough room, not too much, but just enough, and it's always fun like that. So I don't think we've had any issues or incidents on the track. And if someone did make a mistake, we pretty much apologize right away. So it's all good and fun.
Well, fantastic. Like I said, it's so fun to watch, and it's such a friendly rivalry. So one last question before we let you get to those shout-outs and sponsors and all that stuff. But you had a mission tonight. You set out. You got all the bonus points you wanted. So here's your chance to talk just a little bit of trash. You got a prediction for next week? Who's going to be the champion?
Oh, I got to do it again. I got to try and lead all the laps. Try to make sure Mikey does not lead a lap, and try to get the fastest lap. And try to get the pole like I did tonight. Just got to do it again and hunker down and hope Pocono is a good track for me. I know Mikey knows that. Mikey's been fast there recently, so it's gonna be fun. Hopefully you guys can enjoy it.
There it is, folks. I can't even egg it on. No matter how hard I try, I can't get them to talk trash about each other. So two great guys, two great champions, and with that said, congratulations tonight on a fantastic race, some great strategy. And I know you got some shout-outs and sponsors, so it's all yours, Jameer.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff and Charles at BRN. Just a shout-out to Global Building Contractors, Gold Cube, Dan Butler Designs, iRacing Drivers World. Thank my family and friends for watching. Thank the fans for following and watching the races. Just Happy New Year to everyone. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Jameer Muhammad. They're our winner tonight, guys. And with that, we'll take it back down to Charles Wooten so he can bring it home.
All right. Well, of course, to everyone out there, thanks for tuning in. And we want to thank all the sponsors that have come on board here for this season here on the racing side of things. Of course, the newest sponsor to come on board is Gold Cube. And, of course, Dan Butler Designs, iRacing Drivers World. And the presenting sponsor here for this series, that is Global Building Contractors. And, of course, here we've been saying we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them for 2018. Well, now it's 2019, and we still wouldn't be here without them. Those do include Northwest Racing Series, Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, SimSpeedShop.com, iBog, and coming on latest, that is Racecore here for 2019. We want to thank everybody for tuning in once again here tonight. We appreciate you all, and on behalf of Racecore Online Racing League and Virtual Racing Network, we will see you tomorrow night with the Northwest Truck Series as the chase continues. Who will put it into victory lane? We'll find out tomorrow night for the last race of the week, as we are off after that. So stay tuned for it. It'll be a late one, but a great one, so make sure you're there.